Welcome back to Shipfaced, everybody. I want to take some time to make some special announcements for my channel. The first one being, I have a huge shout out and thank you to all my viewers for watching my episodes. I've just reached 1,000 watch hours and I look forward to the next milestone. So I'm excited for the changes coming. Speaking of which, this is the first episode in my channel which will not feature an ocean liner. And that is because I'm expanding my channel to a variety of ship types to discuss. I'll include cruise ships, container ships, tugboats, naval ships, all sorts of amazing vessels with incredible stories I'm excited to tell. For now though, I'll take you and divert your attention to the star of today's show, MV Queen Victoria. If you're like me, you might be wondering, where did this extremely rare Queen Victoria model come from? To answer that, follow the link in my description for this video to Yester Toys, a company on Facebook which specializes in 3D printing resin models of the ship of your choice. Limitations do apply, so reach out to the company on Facebook for more information. It's also important to note that these models come totally gray. I took extra time and attention painting them to make them look realistic for my channel. With the launch of Queen Victoria in 2007, one might think that's the beginning of her story, but in actuality, it begins 82 years prior. In 1925, Sir John Burns, chairman of Cunard at the time, called Buckingham Palace with the intent to name their new flagship after, quote, England's greatest queen. King George V responded and said that his wife would be absolutely floored to have the flagship named after her. And of course, her name was Queen Mary. So, for obvious reasons, avoiding an extremely awkward situation, Cunard pretty much shelved the idea of having a Queen Victoria ship and chose to go for Queen Mary. And then in 1938 went for Elizabeth as her sister. And then in 1967, of course, we had the famous Queen Elizabeth II. And then, as we all know as well, in 2004, Queen Mary II was commissioned. And finally, here we are in 2007, and Cunard Line has an actual opportunity to name a vessel Queen Victoria. 80 years span from the time they originally planned a Queen Victoria until they finally had one. And even that is not the end of the story. So finally, Cunard signed a contract with Fincantieri Shipyards in Monfalcone, Italy, near Venice, in 2003 to begin construction. Time goes on and the hull progresses, and they're finally ready by 2004 or 5 to hand over ownership from the shipyard to Cunard. And not so much. Unfortunately, this ship is lacking several design features they determined are paramount in a Cunard ship, things that passengers have come to expect, such as a wraparound promenade deck, curves in the hull to handle the North Atlantic weather, and in addition to that, a reinforced steel hull, thicker plating to handle the weather. And as a result, Cunard Line refused acceptance and said, we won't take it. We've asked for certain design features that this ship is without. And as a result, the ship went up for sale, and P&O, Pacific and Orient Lines, another cruise line, bought the ship. So to this day, when you see merchant vessel Arcadia, she has a QE2 reminiscent radar mast and a very similar funnel to actual Queen Victoria because it was the first draft, if you will. So the shipyard essentially restarts the process on a new hull, and by December, Cunard finally, after 82 years of trying, has a Queen Victoria. And here's where more crazy stuff happens. So, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II was unable to attend the ceremony as was originally hoped for, so they go, Cunard goes down the chain of command to see who else is available, and HRH Camilla Parker Bowles, Duchess of Cornwall, accepts the invitation. And at the naming ceremony, she says the mantra, I name this ship Queen Victoria, may God bless her and all who sail in her. And she pushes this massive button on the podium, which is intended to send an Australian bottle of wine against the hull, smash it, and trigger the fireworks. Well, she pushes this button, the bottle hits the ship, but bounces and falls into the sea. There was no bottle breaking. It was very awkward. There was no choir erupting into song, there were no fireworks, no confetti, just nothing. A lot of silence, a lot of whispering, and I'm sure the chairman of Cunard at the time, Carol Marlowe, was probably sweating. This is a very superstitious moment for launching a new ship, and she radios a deckhand on Queen Victoria at the time and tells this person to smash his glass of martini against the ship, and that is what triggers the celebrations. Honestly though, comedy aside, I think it speaks a lot to Cunard's authenticity as a respectable maritime company, you know? To request a shipyard for a specific breed of ship, and then inspect it and determine it's not what they requested, and to refuse delivery. You don't really see that very often. Oftentimes companies request a ship, pay for it, and then just accept whatever the shipyard produces. So for Cunard to essentially request the shipyard to do it again, I think speaks to the attention to detail and quality that passengers who are familiar with Cunard come to expect. And I must say, the pictures of this ship do not do it justice. I know that's a cliche, but it's true in this example as well, because having spent a lot of time very close up hand painting this Queen Victoria model, I can tell you that there are details included on this ship I have not seen on any other ship, and it makes such a more beautiful impact. It's truly a work of art. Cunard went over and above with their final Queen Victoria. Alright everybody, that's a wrap on Queen Victoria. I hope you learned something new and had fun with me along the way. Thank you everybody, like and subscribe, and see you next time.